All right. We should be live right about now. Um, let's make sure it's all working. We had some technical difficulties to start this out with.
You want a little bio? Like,
Yeah, I'll give you a little bio, introduce you, and then we'll get into the to your specific experience with your page being removed by Facebook, and then maybe we will talk a little bit generally about the whole issue, because obviously it wasn't just you; it was over 500 pages. Um, let's see. Um,
the
let's make
wild
sure.
thing, the wild
Mhm.
thing is, did you see that they've actually verified 382 of them with a reach of 204 million people?
Yeah, Jake did a great job compiling all that.
Unbelievable, like research, just actually accounting for the pages and the individuals. Just
Okay.
There's a whole lot to pack in.
Yes. Okay. So we looks like it is working. We are live. Let me introduce my guest, Joe Bowman, who had his Facebook page deleted. It's called Political Junkie News Media with 250,000 followers. It was, of course, among over 500 pages that were removed without warning last month in October. So, Joe, tell us a little bit about yourself and what happened. What's your perspective here? What was your experience?
My experience, personally, I started this page after I had written a book. I ran for Congress in 2012 as a libertarian, and I came to the realization that even when you think that you found the outsiders, like the fringe outside party in this political system that we kind of are forced to engage in, or we're shamed, if we don't go out and vote today, your friends will shame you. We're at that point. I was kind of fed up with a lot of things I'd been seeing my entire adult life. I think I was just turning 18 as 9/11 happened. So I vaguely remember what freedom's like. But
can I ask you specifically about, just like this issue of freedom on social media? So Facebook, they made this announcement. They said that all these pages were removed for, quote, misleading behavior, such as being administered by a fake account, misleading users, or violating Facebook spam policies. So, I mean, first thing that comes to my mind is, like, you'd think of a site with all the resources as Facebook, they could be specific. They'd tell you which one and how exactly you were violating that specific policy. So that's a weird thing to me. But I have to ask you, were you like, do you think when Facebook sent you this message, did you have any fake accounts administering your page? Were you violating any Facebook spam policies?
No. I mean, it's not like I was just clogging up people's news feed with content. I wasn't, this is the difference between me and a lot of the people who were getting the reach that, was in the ballpark that I was. And keep in mind, I've been doing this. I started the page in 2011. It was basically, after I had written the book of how the congressional run just went awry. So I wanted to use the page as a way to sort of, get my book out there, but I sort of lost interest in that, and I enjoyed spreading awareness to people. And the difference between me and a lot of these other pages that were very large is that I wasn't making, some of these guys were bringing in 6 figures a year on ad revenue on their websites. So they had a nice, comfortable, cushy relationship with Facebook for years. And this was allowed to go on. There was, Facebook actually didn't care about deciphering like what's truth from, you know, fiction or anything like it. They didn't want to be the gatekeepers of speech for the longest time.
Yeah. I mean, let me jump in. Yeah, it's true. One of the weird things is yes, obviously these sites were on Facebook for years, having accumulated millions of followers. Facebook directly benefited from these pages. I mean, obviously they brought out traffic to Facebook. But with this, I want to follow up with the, you know, Facebook's accusations of fake accounts and all. I know that first of all, I do want to vouch. I can vouch for some of these pages, their content. I made a video for Police the Police. I had some of my content shared on the Free Thought Project.
Jason Bassler's become a great friend of mine. Throughout this process, since this happened, we've been able to just kind of share information and confide in each other. You know, it really, these things really do become like your baby. You know, you put that much time and effort into it and resources, and just to have it yanked right from under you is kind of a, you know, Mortal Kombat finish him type.
Oh yeah, no, it sucks. And then with no warning, that's the other thing. But here, let me ask you this. So Jason, you brought up Jason. I know Jason has, you know, he's made appearances on RT and other channels, and he explained that he did have a second account.
Correct. And I did too. And they were, it was my name, my birth name. It's on my birth certificate, social security card, driver's license, Joseph J. Bowman. So I had a backup account, my regular account, which I've had since the Facebook started, is Joe Bowman. So once I started to get these vague, very petty bans, where, you know, it seemed like I was being banned for 30 days at a time just to be taken off of Facebook, because I could tell that they saw me as a threat. They wanted to, you know, disrupt the flow of this type of information. So I created a secondary account, which I have never had any problems with. And it was also the second administrator on my page. And so on both accounts, I had to go through the 2-step authentication process, verify my country. Facebook just gave me the runaround for close to a month with my cell phone number on my main account, because my secondary account didn't have a telephone number attached to it. Mm-hmm. So what basically, you know, it had political junkie news media at gmail.com as its, you know, that was its email attached to the account. It's a picture of me. My children are on there. I mean, both accounts, like basically when Facebook, the day after they did these purges, they were also trying to verify accounts, or I believe it was that morning they were trying to verify accounts before they took down the pages. They asked both of my accounts to send them upload a picture, just upload a picture of myself. Mm-hmm. You know, and oddly enough, the picture that I sent, the same picture for both accounts. And it was a picture that I just pulled right off of my laptop that is probably been used as a profile picture on both accounts before. And so my accounts, both personal accounts were down for about 2 hours. And they reviewed that process, and then they brought those accounts back and said, thank you for helping us verify who you are. And that was the day on October 11th of the the 559 pages that were
Purge.
The Purge, that where they even made a statement regarding exactly how many pages, making it seem like this was a coordinated effort. You know, if these people were violating these terms and conditions, why weren't you on it and taking them down as you saw them violating them? Why did you continue to let them violate your terms and policies and waited to make this, you know, this combined effort, like where on one day, exactly a month prior, 3 weeks prior to the midterms, we're just going to take away. So far, just in one individual that I talked to, who was he owned about 15 pages, and each of them had about 1 million reach. This is a guy who had some conservative pages, which, you know, during the Senate congressional hearings, that was actually a big deal with Ted Cruz. That was his main focal point. It was like he didn't care about, you know, bulk data surveillance, and was grilling Zuckerberg on conservative pages being suppressed. You know, as we see by the Purge, you know, it obviously wasn't, you know, just there was no partisan like basis for this.
Yeah, it seems the commonality among the pages removed. One commonality is they were anti-establishment. But I want to jump in and kind of talk about. So you mentioned how you did have a second account. Other pages had second accounts, and I think people listening, they'll you know, when they hear that, they're like, oh well, that is you know, administering there was administration of pages by fake accounts. But here's the thing. I think it's important to add a little context. And one is, well, if that was the case, well, I think it's fair, like you said, to have the logic behind it is not necessarily a scam. It's the thinking that you want to have a backup for your page because you've invested so much into this page, you know. So I can understand that. It's kind of like, I mean, most people have second emails, you know, Facebook functions like an email. But let me go on to say, this is the biggest point though. It's like, if Facebook is going through and wanting to get rid of inauthentic accounts or secondary accounts, well, okay, get rid of the account. Why are they taking down the pages, which are clearly owned by someone who does have a real account also and verifies that? So that's the big, you know, weird thing to me.
Exactly. And there's no, I'm not trying with this secondary account, I'm not trying to be misleading at all. Like I said, it is the name that matches my birth certificate. You know, with my photo, with pictures of me and my children, you know, it has information of, you know, where I attended school. You know, it's verifiably easily. You can ascertain that I'm not trying to mislead anyone with this account. You know, the email matches up with my page. It was like you said, it was a backup account that Facebook obviously has not had an issue with. And I'm not going to say that ever since Facebook was invented that I've been a saint on this site. Let me tell you this is how they miss their target in so many areas and how off they are in their scrutiny. For about a year, I ran a fake page, a fake account that was named Marsupial Jones. And it was just a picture of a guy drinking a beer with a kangaroo suit on. And I literally, Facebook, not once in the entire year where I maintained this facade did they take this account down.
Yeah. Marsupial Jones, that sounds like some premium Facebook content to me. That sounds funny.
Was great. I had fun with it.
It's important to note though that of course Facebook's had, only more recently have they really been cracking down on inauthentic accounts that don't
Are
represent
obviously fake.
real people. Yeah. So and that's obviously because of the whole hysteria about Russia meddling in the election, which there really isn't very much evidence
or
of.
an animal, I generally don't trust you if you send me a friend request.
Yeah.
I feel like my security precautions are tighter than Facebook's.
Let me ask you. So, let's see. You also, okay. Well, right now, your page is still down. These hundreds of pages are still down. Did you respond with an appeal?
Yes,
okay.
I appealed on the very day, and the difference is, I believe so far, I actually was able to view my page as all the way up until last Thursday, November 1st, and once I wasn't able to see it anymore, and I started to go back in my Facebook memories where I would share posts from my page, and I would try to click on those, and it would send me to a dead link every time. I realized that that's how Facebook decided on my appeal. They just killed the page 3 weeks after with no notification or justification.
Yeah, see, that is another element of this that I really, sorry to cut you off, but that is really like a big issue, and it's just a complete lack of transparency. They won't explain specifically what it was that you did, to cause this removal. And again, if it was, it seems like the one thing that we can determine is like, okay, you did have one additional account, but why the fuck are they removing? Why don't they just remove that account instead of your whole page with 250,000 followers? And I think is the same scenario. I think happened with a lot of these pages. Anyway, sorry to cut you off. What else did you have to say?
What I was going to say is, as far as I know, I'm the only page that has been deleted out of the list that is circulating. All of them, everyone else that I know that has appealed, other than I think I just heard earlier, possibly the anti-media page might have been taken down just in the past few days as well. But for the most part, I believe the appeal process, I'm doing air quotes that you can't see, the appeal process that they're allowing for, every other page is still has their appeal pending. So I was obviously one of the first ones that on the chopping block for them, exactly 3 weeks from the purge, that they just deleted it with, like I said, without notification, without justification.
Well, yeah, I mean, it seems like they were all chopped at the same time, and I asked out to like a group of the administrators who lost their pages. You're a part of it, and I asked, what's going on with the appeals process, guys, and this happened. They like responded from a month ago. Yeah, everybody said they've got no response whatsoever. This is a month ago. Okay. Any Joe, anything? Thanks for being transparent with us. Unlike Facebook. So what? Yeah. What would you like to leave us with? Are you trying to regrow a page? Why don't you tell us where we can see this new page to help you grow?
Sure. Again. Well.
Or are you exploring other sites now?
No, I'm not. A lot of people are trying. I've never, like I said, I've never been in this to make money. A lot of people want me to start a Steemit account and start writing there and go over to Minds. That's not what for the past 5 years, like the passion that I've done this for has been like the ability to cross over into new platforms. When I started to network with people like Jason Bassler, and Nick Burnaby, and Justin King, who runs Fifth Column News, who I've written for them on several occasions. Just getting to meet these guys who are activists from around the country, and they believe in what they're saying, and I of course I've started my page. I've started a new page. I started this one basically jotting down thoughts, at work when I would see the news ticker go by, and I'm in a small town in Indiana. And
you're not in Russia? You're not in Russia?
No,
okay,
I'm not in Russia. Okay. I'm in a small town in Indiana, about population 70,000, 80,000 people, college town. So just the fact that I was able to grow this page from just small little thoughts and anecdotes that I had in my head that I wrote on scrap pieces of paper, to developing a website, learning these things on my own, basically through YouTube tutorials and things like that. I developed the website on my own, basically developed a passion for writing, started publishing articles. The passion of reaching people and sort of waking them up, and the overwhelming support I've gotten from people after I was just like, fuck it, excuse my language, but this was like kind of my last straw with this platform. Mm-hmm. And everybody was trying to get me to gravitate to other places, but then I sort of got this overwhelming like support from friends, that were just like, just stick with it, don't let them, push you out of here because they suck. Mm-hmm. Obviously you're a threat to them, like on some capacity, or this wouldn't have happened. I think you and I have the same sort of basic understanding of, if there was some minor infraction or violation that I committed, it would have been nice to get a warning and say, it would have been nice to get a warning instead of just, out of nowhere, you're
chopped. You're on the chop. You've been eliminated.
Exactly. What you
got the guillotine.
You spent years and time and effort in this, and sorry, but I can recall one week where it was just the amazing thing about this platform. The thing I've always loved is that I was able to reach 70 million people in 1 week on this page. And I thought, there's no way that CNN or even Fox News or some of these top rated shows really have engaged that many people. And I'm just a guy in Indiana. Like
that actually reminds me, with all this hysteria about Russia meddling in the elections, they shared all these stats. It's like, okay, they spent $100,000 on advertising on Facebook. Like, that's what they did. And like, maybe 1 million people saw a piece of their content. Like, these are the stats that they get. And it's like, I look at that, I'm like, that's really not much. Billions of dollars was spent by the two main campaigns. And I'm a nobody, and I got about that much, if not more, impressions. Like about 100 million views. Like, it's like, come on.
This is what also pisses me off, is that I'm a political consultant. I've managed 4 campaigns. So in the primary this year, I was managing a campaign. So I spent thousands of dollars on Facebook ads. So it's not like they haven't gotten their share of money out of me, you know, in order to just stab me in the back like this.
Yeah. The weird thing is, like, so they'll take your money to put, to put ads in people's faces. But if you share your content to groups of people who have opted in to see shared content, that's spam. How is that spam? Like, it's the weirdest thing. So that's what they said in their announcement, by the way, that sharing tons of content to groups is spam, even though I don't see how that is, considering everybody in the groups opted in to see content that is relevant to the groups. Sorry. Anyway, and if you actually look through their Facebook policy, the community standards, and the policy for pages, it doesn't mention anything about you sharing too much to groups. Nada. And yet that's a huge part of their rationale and explanation for chopping all these pages. It's just odd, and I think people should be skeptical of it. Anyway, so are you able to hear me again or not? It looks like, I guess we lost connection again. We were having a lot of technical difficulties at the beginning. Looks like they have returned. Anyway, Joe Bowman, thanks for joining me. And hey, I'd love to hear what people think in the comments of this whole situation. Peace, Joe. Please hit the like button, leave a comment. Thanks for watching.
Matt Orfalea, I guess that's how you pronounce it.
YouTuber Matt Orfalea.
A YouTuber named Matt Orfalea.
Wow, somebody knows me.
Absolutely, baby. We watch your videos. We make them go viral.
People were enjoying it.
All right, let's walk out here.